I'm Aria Schwartz, and welcome to the Winsidr Show, where it's all about the W. It's getting spicy in the W these days. JJ is refusing to talk about Sandy's exit in New York. Reporters are making headlines in Indiana, and the Lynx, without Nafisa Kalia or Dorka Juhas, are still standing number one in the league. Let's cut to the basket and discuss. Before we get into today's show, just a quick reminder, Winsidr is fully independent WNBA coverage, and everything we do is supported by listeners like you. If you enjoy what we're doing, you can keep it going by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/Winsidr. With pricing levels for everyone, you're directly supporting the work we put into covering the W year-round. We've also got a full team producing great written coverage over at winsidr.com. That's winsidr.com. Plus more content than ever across TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, and YouTube. And if you're in the market for WNBA gear, check out the affiliate links in the show notes and on winsidr.com. You rep the league, and Winsidr gets a little support along the way. Welcome back to the show. Excited to be back here with Madisyn. Maddie, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah. So many good games recently. Excited to talk
Oh
about
my
it.
God. It's been ridiculous. Before we have actual topics to discuss on this episode, but before we get into that, is there anything that's just like, what we're going to be talking about? Is there anything on your mind that we're not planning on talking about that happened, or you're excited to happen or not happen, that's on your mind right now?
Uh I mean, I was at the Valkyries Fever game. It was really chippy. I was surprised. I mean, the game itself wasn't that chippy, but I was surprised the fans were, kind of booing Caitlyn the whole time. It was really interesting to see. Yeah, that was a really good game. I think the Valkyries are really taking that next step to the next level, and that game I think was the game that, showed that. It's really cool.
Yeah, as somebody who loves fandom, I think in the W, like, I'm not like, I'll be blunt, like, me getting into the W, one of the things that like really drew me in was I was going to Lynx games, and you could feel like as a fan you were impacting the game. Like,
Mhm.
you cheered and like you could hear your voice, where it wasn't just like you're one of a sea of 10,000, 20,000. Like, you felt when you yelled miss or like brick or
Mhm.
whatever when they're shooting the free throw, like, you had that actual impact. And so, I always joke that every team has like one crazy fan.
Yeah.
In DC, like, there's that one fan who just yells brick every time someone's shooting a free throw. Everybody else is dead silent, and there's one guy's just yelling brick. There's like a person in some other play, I'm trying to remember where, who does like a cattle call or something. It's like, oh, woo, I don't even know. And then they're like, in all these different teams, I'll have like that one crazy fan who just
Yeah.
like goes for it. And what I loved so much about that Indiana Valkyries game was it wasn't that one fan; it was the whole freaking place.
Everyone.
And like,
Yeah.
I'm all about that. You're gonna start booing a player every time they touch the ball. That is amazing fandom. That is Valhalla. Like, that is amazing. I'm Look, the Portland Fire's fan base has been getting its
Mhm.
proper attention for what they have been doing. But I feel like GSV was kind of like, whoa, 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 hold my beer. Let's show
Yeah.
you how it's done. Um, okay, cool. Let's get into it. Finally, we're about, a quarter of a way into the season. We can finally start talking about some actual things, some
Mm.
real nitty gritty, interesting topics. The two early MVPs, the easiest way to start things off. Let's make it abundantly clear. I feel like it's a pretty obvious front runner currently. Asia Wilson looking for are we already at 6? Or are we just at 5 now?
Why? It would be her fifth.
Okay, I'm losing track because it feels like we are in the like there's and I don't want this to be taken in a bad way towards the rest of the Las Vegas Aces roster, because we'll get into that later. In the past, we've had eras of, the Houston Comet era, the Lynx era. You could argue there was a Seattle Storm era. We're in the Asia Wilson era. Like,
Mm.
it is just Asia, rightfully so. The woman puts team on her back, league on her back, everything on her back, and it still feels like, I don't know, like when you watch a comic or like a superhero movie, and that super strong superhero lifts up something crazy strong and they're like struggling to do it, and in your mind you're kind of like, aren't you supposed to be like infinitely strong. I feel
Yeah.
like Asia Wilson is what you expect, right? There isn't
Mhm.
that moment of she's struggling to lift it. It's just she's doing it and it's such an ease. She's averaging 24.8 points a game. Let's just round that up. 25 points a game, 3 assists a game. She's shooting 55.6 from the 3-point line. She's shooting 52% from the field. Don't forget, she got 8.9. Let's just round that up to 9 rebounds a game. And she's getting 1.2 steals. And don't forget the 2.6 blocks per game. It is just completely absurd. And if you think you're going to find something in the free throw line where she's slacking, you're wrong. It's 81%. Now, obviously, she's not shooting 50, 60, 90, but this is insane. This is ridiculous. When we were chatting about this, I was like, I don't even know who else we can include in this
I
conversation.
know.
There's a couple other names we'll throw in there because, and full transparency, I gave a lot of crap to people for doing this in past years, where we would be like, oh, we have to have 5 people in the MVP race. So, and I'm like, no, it's Fee or Asia, or no, it's Asia, or no, it's who. Like, I feel like often we don't actually have a like a 3-person race. It's a 1, maybe 2-person race. But because I like to contradict myself, let's talk about some other players that should be getting some attention. Who's somebody else that maybe you would throw in? I know you have one. I have one more.
Yeah, I mean, definitely gotta say Alicia Gray. I mean, the Dream are, I think obviously the MVP, you also have to be on a winning team to be considered for that award. And the Dream are doing very well. A little better than I would have expected, but I did expect them to be, near the top. So not that crazy, but I think she's averaging what, 24 right now? Maybe 21, I don't know. But something something great. And
I'll
I
bring up the
think,
stats.
yeah, okay. The numbers that she's averaging on this Dream team, that is, well, the Atlanta Dream team that is performing at this level. I mean, you have to consider her. I think she was like third in voting last year, which for a guard in the league is pretty impressive. This is very much a bigs league. So yeah, she definitely always has to be in that conversation, I think, for me. But I mean, it was hard because Asia is just like totally in a league of her own. Uh, but yeah, you got to give the nod to the guards when you can.
First of all, I'm completely with you. I mean, you look at the history of this league. I mean, you got Diane Taurasi winning it once. You got Maya Moore. Many people like she was a wing, fine stretcher to a. It's hard to
Yeah.
There really have not been. I mean, there's less than 5 in league history MVPs from the guard position, true guard
Mhm.
position. So it's just insanely hard and an uphill climb. And there's a lot to go into it. Personally, I think part of it is shooting percentage. Obviously, bigs traditionally, if you are a good big, an equal level big to you are equal level guard, your shooting percentage should be higher because your
Mhm.
shots are at the rim at a higher
Right.
percentage look. Also, statistically, you're going to be having a little bit more on the blocks, a little bit more on the
Mhm.
rebounds. And so I think often those numbers kind of detract or steal eyes away from guard play when guard play is, so beyond important. We're seeing that in Minnesota with what Olivia Miles has been able to do. Just to run
Mhm.
down Alicia Gray's numbers real quick: 21.1 points a game, 1.4 assists. She's shooting 35.2 from 3, 45.6 from the field, a steal a game, 4.5 rebounds a game, and 81% from the free throw line, and also just 2 turnovers a game, which is also impressive
Yeah.
for guard play too.
Also,
The
like
other, yeah,
those 4 rebounds with Angel on the team is pretty impressive. Like, you have to
oh yeah,
consider who she's getting those rebounds with, like, on her
mm-hmm.
personnel.
Oh yeah, and like, look, to touch on that a little bit more, like if Angel Reese is a player, and we've talked about this, but like Angel Reese is a player, if when you have the shooters that are surrounding her on this roster and the rebounding ability that she has, I understand the vision. That's a match made in heaven. You
Mhm.
like she's an offensive rebound machine. The key is going to be kind of training her brain to filter to a different degree of when to kick out and when to go back up for that second, third shot.
Mhm.
Because one, and this isn't shade to her, but her second, third shot attempts are not a great percentage.
Mhm.
She needs to get better at that. But granted, she's getting her own rebound off of that most of the time because no one can out rebound her. But I just think also from just like a money perspective, a points perspective, if you're looking, when you have Alicia Gray, Jordan Canada, and Ryan Howard around the perimeter, and you're getting that rebound, and if like, why just kick it out to them, because three's more than two, and like, and that's not even anything other than that. That's just, you have some of the best shooters in the league. You feed them, you get them eating. Atlanta's a team that I think is going to be very scary. I don't have the utmost confidence yet. I think they haven't fully figured it out yet. It's a long season to go. They are further ahead, to your point, than I expected them to be. The other player that I kind of had that I feel like, maybe this is a hometown bias, maybe this is a recency bias, but that's what an MVP is. Sitting at 7-2, the Minnesota Lynx are sitting there. Now, I don't think I'm ready to give the MVP necessarily to the rookie Olivia Miles, who has been playing amazing. I do have some qualms with her defense, and yes, I'll argue myself and say that she does get her hands in passing lanes and deflect a lot and gets a nice amount of steals. But I think the defense still needs to step up. But we could go Courtney Williams, we could go Natasha Howard on this. I think if you're the number one team by half a game, sitting here, we got to give some love to the Minnesota Lynx, just in respect of what they have been able to do, even if, and I'll say this, I think they're going to drop off a little bit later. But Natasha Howard, 16.6 points a game, 7.7 rebounds, 3.8 assists, steal, 1.4. She's like shooting a career high 66% from the field. That is freaking insane. She has not hit a 3-pointer yet, but she's shooting, this is the struggle, 53% from the free throw line. She's getting just under a block a game, and she's getting 1.4 steals a game. She does have close to 4 turnovers. But then we talk about Courtney Williams, 17.8 points a game, 5.2 rebounds, 4.1 assists, a steal and a half, 85% from the free throw line, 44% from the 3-point line, and 50% from the field, and averaging just under 2 turnovers a game. So you got to give some love to those players, because they are driving, obviously with Olivia Miles, but they are driving this team to be the number one team. Any other players that you think should be involved in that? I feel like you mentioned Kelsey Plum when we were chatting before, but
yeah, the only problem is first of all, she's been out, but I don't think the Sparks will be anywhere near good enough to even look to her to that. But if the Sparks managed to be anywhere near the top, you immediately do have to consider her. But yeah, it's a tight race. I feel like, it's a tight, no, it's not a tight race. It's a tight race in terms of there's not that many people to think about. Like, I feel like, Asia's just casting a very wide shadow. And everyone else who's doing very, very well, I guess it's just hard to imagine them doing it for the rest of the season, like continuing that level of play, because we've seen Asia do it so many times. We haven't necessarily seen them do it to the same level, the amount, for the whole season.
No, totally. All right, moving on. Way too early. Most improved player. I'm going Emily Angsler. Has just been ridiculous this season. Not having the most insane 30-point games, blah blah blah, but let me just run down a few stats. 23 minutes a game, so not even playing an insane amount of minutes either. 10 points a game, 4.3 rebounds, an assist and a half, a steal and a half, 2.3 blocks per game. She was averaging a game ago 2.6 or something crazy. Just 2 turnovers, shooting 47% from the field and 45% from the 3-point line, 77% from the free throw line. But what she's been able to do for this team in terms of defense, in terms of just establishing herself, and I think, if you've been watching her for the last few seasons, you get an understanding of that this was almost like boiling under the top of the pan and just waiting to boil over. Very excited about the season that she's having over in Portland. Any other players that are coming to mind for you?
Yeah, I think you definitely have to have Jessica Shepard in that conversation. I also pulled up the stats. She's averaging 4.6 more points a game, basically 4 more rebounds a game. She's averaging 11 rebounds, which is second in the league behind Angel, which crazy. She's averaging double the amount of assists. And that game, I mean, that 22, 20, and 10 game was just insane. And the fact that it was against Angel and Alyssa is just like it wasn't like against, some scrubs. Like it was against the best in the world. And I just think, yeah, what she brings to this Wings team is so valuable. Obviously, you have Paige, you have AZ, but um obviously big play, like we talked about, is very important in this league. And I think she has really established herself as being on this next level this year. Yeah, I think the potential has always been there, but I know she like tore her ACL during her rookie season, and obviously she was playing behind Fee. So I mean, she was bound to have kind of like a breakthrough season with this new personnel and this new role in the starting unit.
Yeah, totally. I mean, look, if you've been following Jessica Shepard's career, she had early young success in Minnesota, then got injured, like you said. Overseas, I mean, she puts up those 22, 20, and 10 games, like kind of
Hmm.
like I don't want to say regularly because it's never regular, but like an odd, like I remember the past few years like looking at her overseas numbers, and obviously it's overseas, but you're just like, those are video game numbers. She's dropping
Hmm.
like 26 and 19 regularly. It's insane. Not triple doubles regularly, but like it's ridiculous what she's been able to do. And I would say for her, yeah, totally making that leap. And we saw it at times when Fee was injured in Minnesota. I
Hmm.
would say my biggest thing for Jessica Shepard, the biggest thing holding her back from winning this or just continuing to have this such an amazing season is herself, in the sense of stamina.
Hmm.
Jessica Shepard, if you've tracked her for a while, this isn't going to be a shock to you, but she's amazing early season. She's amazing mid season. And as this season goes on, what you start to see is her play taper off a little bit,
Hmm.
not because of anything other than she is a juggernaut. She plays physically, she plays strong, she plays with that oomph, that effort that you need, the dive for the ball type player, the
Hmm.
jump into the crowd to make a save, the put your body on the line type player. And she's doing that year round. And come the end of the WNBA season, it starts to take a toll on the body, especially these
Hmm.
longer seasons now. So I'll be interested to kind of see what happens as this season goes on
Yeah.
for her. All right, panic meter. This is a fun one. We're going to rate each team on your level of panic. One
Hmm.
being, I'm not panicking at all. I'm excited. 10 being, the house is on fire. Get out.
Right.
All right. Um, let's start off. Do you want to say your number first, or do I say my number first?
You can go first.
Cool. Phoenix, I'm going 9. I am
Mm,
in I'm not ready to break the window and jump out of the house. I'm off the second floor, but I've pulled the fire alarm.
mhm,
The smoke inhalation has taken over my room, and I'm very scared.
mhm,
Um, we're not like, I'm sorry, playing against Seattle and beating up on Seattle when you're not actually beating up on them, beating them by like a couple points, is not the correction of direction that I need to see from this team. I have seen nothing this season that tells me that this will continue. I mean, if I'm not saying that this is a fact, what I'm saying is that Dwana Bonner does not look like she's playing her, ridiculous resurgent years that we've seen sometimes.
mhm,
Alyssa Thomas has not looked the same Alyssa Thomas. I would say maybe like we're not talking about her in the MVP race right now. Not
mhm,
just because Phoenix isn't playing good, but because she's not up there in that same way. And I would say a lot of it probably has to do with the officiating this season being a little bit more whistle happy.
mhm.
And then, yeah, like you lose a lot of players over the offseason. And now what are you doing? How you regurgitating from not regurgitating, how you bouncing back from that? So yeah, tell me where are you? What number are you at?
Yeah, I was gonna say like an 8, like pretty up there. I think after the two losses against the Liberty, I'm like, these are two teams that are up there. Like I probably was closer to like a 5, a 6, but yeah, it just doesn't look good over there. Like you said, DB and AT just aren't playing very well, and neither is Copper. I mean, she's shooting very poorly from the field. And I think that those numbers are bound to go up a little bit. Like, I don't think they'll stay like 14th or 15th. in the rankings, but honestly, like I could see it happening like right now how they're playing. I just feel like it just doesn't make sense, right? Because Nogic had that great start to the season. They obviously have these vets who are very great players. It's just something's not clicking there. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say an 8. Yeah, this the I was expecting Seattle to kind of be like, a morale boosting game, but yeah, only beating them by 4 was not the look
Definitely
that you
not.
really want to see.
Totally. No, I'm 100% with you. Yeah, we can do a whole episode on this, diving in on that. Like, what is going on there? There's some problems because they did find some gems. They did find some possibilities, and I'm completely with you on everything. Okay, moving on. New York Liberty, you might be saying, why am I rating the New York Liberty on a panic? Because they're sitting there at 6-4, sixth in the league. They're what, a game out of playoff bubble. And
Mhm.
yes, I understand almost everyone's a game or 2 games out of playoff bubble at this point, but this is where we are today. For me, I'll go first. New York's a 5. I'm, the smoke detector is not going off, but I smell smoke. I'm
Mhm.
not ready to panic, but I see problems. They can very, very easily be corrected, right? Start waving around the t-shirt, blow away that fan, put out the fire, whatever it is. But I do see signs that I should be concerned if this continues. So I'm giving them a 5. What about you?
Yeah, I'd say similar, like maybe a 4-ish. Like I'm less worried.
You can go 4.5. Like
Yeah,
you're
maybe a
allowed to do. All
4.5.
right.
I'm less worried than I am worried, if that makes sense. I think earlier in the season it was looking a bit worse. Um, I mean, maybe it's recency bias because like JJ had that great game, but I do think, if she were to continue, because I feel like sometimes I feel like she can always play like that. It's just sometimes she looks like she doesn't want to. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like if she played this season like she wanted to play like that, like obviously the Liberty would be in a very good place. I think the thing that I'm most worried about, like paradoxically, is like what's gonna happen when Sabrina comes back. I just feel like they have a lot going well in the guard position right now that it'll shake up a little bit. I do think, if you slot Assier or MJ to the bench, I do think they would bring that push from the bench, which would be good. But I just think it'll be interesting to see because I feel like this unit has gotten kind of comfortable with each other, not fully, but kind of. It'll be interesting to see how adding her back into that goes. I also think Satu is ramping up. I've seen, some flashes. I think she made like 2 threes yesterday against the tempo. So yeah, I'm less worried than I am worried, but I'm not fully like calm about it either.
I like less worried than I am worried. I might have to steal that at some point.
You
No, I'm completely with you. It's like, also, I feel like part of it is for both of us. We're aware of how talented this roster is.
hmm
So, like, if we were going to talk about, for instance, the Aces, I feel like it's almost similar where the Aces could have started off like, 4-7. And would we be an 11? No, because we know the talent that they have and that will buoy them up. So, like, yes, there is some concern, but you kind of, in the back of your head, you're like, yeah, but they got Stewie and JJ,
Right.
but and Satu and this player and that player and Saab's coming back. She got to earn back her name. Yeah, no, I'm very with you on the whole JJ thing. Okay, Los Angeles Sparks. Again, we're rating teams from 1 to 10 on the panic meter. I'm cranking this one up to an 8. And the
hmm
reason I'm doing it, I completely understand. Kelsey Plum's been hurt. She has been their MVP, whatnot. For me, it's like, it's not just this season, it is a franchise panic of 8.
Yeah.
You missed out on getting Dom, you missed out on getting horse, so many. I don't even want to like go down the whole thing because I'll get so confused of this pick for that player. And like, you could have had Olivia Miles, you could have had, there's so many players that they moved on of draft capital so that they could be all in right now.
hmm
And they have the worst defense in the league, 10 games in or so, and 9 games in, excuse me. Their offense is not even top 4 in the league, so keep that in mind. I don't see how it changes or gets better. So from the perspective of like, yes, I do see who's on this roster, and I think Atkins and Plum, pairing that with Brink, pairing that with Hamby, pairing that with NECA, you look at this and you're like, oh, those are big names. Those players can succeed. But I don't see it in this roster and how they play. And I think, you saw attempts early to try and motivate this team from the coaching
Mhm.
staff and the pressers in other ways, and it does not seem to be working. Obviously, I think they'll buoy up and play a little bit better. But yeah, I'm panicking, and also I just think ownership is pretty out of touch with the reality of the league, and the reality of the LA Sparks.
Yeah, I'm gonna also go up there. I would say like probably a 9, like even higher. I feel like like you said with like just like the management issues. I was really confused about what they were doing with Kate Martin. Like, cuz I think you only get 12 games per development player and they played her in the first
Mm-hmm.
5 games for like what, like 10 minutes, and I was just confused by that. I don't know what they're planning to do with her, and that took up a lot of their developmental spots for the whole season because you only get like
Mm-hmm.
24
You get
games.
24 games. Each player can only play 12.
Yeah, so that was kind of a waste. I feel like, and then
Yeah.
also, I mean, hopefully Ray Burrell is okay, but I know in the last game she went down with a sprained ankle, so she'll probably be missing some time. And she was playing pretty well for them, so I mean, it might just even get worse. And yeah, I mean, they definitely have the talent in theory, but there's just something not clicking. I don't know, like they had a few good and a few close games, but also like I feel like with the level of talent they have, I know they went like toe to toe with the Mystics. Like it probably shouldn't have been that close. Um yeah, there's just something off, like you said. And then I think they're just not using a lot of people properly. Um so yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. It's troublesome. All right, moving on to this. I'm getting hot on this one. Seattle Storm. I'm going again, we're going 1 to 10 panic level, 1 being no panic, 10 being jump out the house is on fire. I'm going 11. And this is going to be a little bit different than Los Angeles, where I was going based on overall franchise. I think long-term wise, Seattle, I'm not worried at all because
Mhm.
they just have so much young talent that even if they don't continue to hold on to all that talent, they're going to get assets in return. Like maybe you
Mhm.
don't hold Ezzy, Dom, and Awa, but maybe you keep 2 of them. Maybe you keep 1 of them. Okay, well, you're probably getting big return for those 2 other
Mhm.
players. So I think, and you also have Horston, you also have Flage. Like there's a lot of opportunity with this roster. Offensively, they're struggling like no other. Defensively, you know, they're showing some stuff. Uh Not the best of stuff. Um but I think they have certain talent that will buoy them up. Defensively, I think they're sitting at like 4th in terms of points per game allowed for the other team. So that is impressive. They do have the ability to play a good defense.
Mhm.
But offensively, it just is strugglesome, and we can go into details of why I think this roster construction was not good. Maybe they're trying to not be overperforming or whatnot, and they want to give opportunity to young players. But it's just considering how much young talent they have.
Mhm.
I just think that this season is going to be really rough unless they can get all 3 of those bigs out there, and then at least they have a saving grace. Even though I still think they're going to be a lottery team.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go. Yeah, like a 10. Like it's. I never expected, even a playoff team, but I didn't expect them to be, dropping games to the Sun. Like I mean, no offense to the Sun, but
No, yeah, no,
well, and the Sun without Layla they can too. Um, yeah. I mean, first of all, of course, Dom is out right now, and Awa is like on her like what, third or something game. So you can't judge too harshly, but yeah, it's yeah, like the offense just isn't producing very well. I think I don't I don't know. I think for Flage, I think something she needs to work on is just like shot selection in general. Like I think when she like gets hot for a little bit, she just starts like kind of taking everything. I think, moving the ball a little bit more. I mean, we saw some. I think she had like she shared the ball well with Awa last night. But yeah, it's just they're a very young team. They're a very young team. So like you said, even if they're very bad this year, I think the years moving forward, they'll be totally fine. But I do think like the Mystics last year showed us that even if like a young team can still show flashes against like really good teams, we're not really seeing that with the Storm. But, like the Storm are very much performing like their roster implies them to, which is fine. But you kind of expect from a young team, like, a few shocks here and there because they're young, they can run, all that stuff, but they're not really showing us that.
Yeah, and also like let's be real, like let's we don't need to go into this whole thing, but like Sonia's the coach. Like a lot
Hmm.
falls on the coach. We see in Minnesota a roster that a variety of people, not just me, thought would be underperforming is overperforming. Like this is not new to sports that a coach can lift a roster to better performance than they have been. Okay,
Hmm.
last team in the panic meter uh, is a fun one. This is gonna get some clicks. Whatever. Indiana Fever. I'm going 7, and I had to talk myself down from an 8. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because of the hoopla, not with the media member, not with the play of this team, but the elephant in the room, which is there's whether you want to acknowledge it or not, whether you support the heated discussions during timeouts between your star player and your coach. There is a topic there. There is something to discuss there. There is concern there. I'm not going to sit here and say this team is better without Caitlin Clark on the field. I think that's a little bit of a stretch. Everyone's going to point to the playoff run last year. And I have so many asterisks next to that. But I just think, you know, we are seeing there are flaws in Caitlin's game. There's flaws in everyone's game. Growth as a player is finding ways to shore up those flaws, get better at those things. And I have not seen growth in those ways. We hear she's putting on muscle. I still see if you play physical against her, you can throw her off her game and get in her head. Can she respond? Can she change that? 100%. Has she shown at times you kind of piss her off and she plays better? 100%. But like, this is third, fourth season now. I'm losing track. You can argue about, she didn't play enough in that season or this season or whatever. At the end of the day, like you're getting to a point as a franchise where that discussion of the cohesion between the roster and the coach with, the players getting better or this is being the best starting five or players of minutes or whatever to succeed this team is no longer or is more of the topic than
Hmm.
the play. We're no longer talking about Caitlin Clark had this amazing game. Caitlin Clark, had this crazy shot to tie the game because she did have a couple of those, like a week ago.
Hmm.
Um, but now we're talking about all of the drama. And when that's the discussion and not the basketball, that's when I get concerned, not because it's all true and, listen to the noise. But if that noise continues, that's a sign of a downfall of a team, not, don't think that I'm saying downfall in like some horrible, you know, catastrophe way. I'm
Hmm.
saying in the sense of like, if that's taking our attention, that can be a sign of worse things to come. Um, that's my Indiana rant. Any thoughts?
No, I totally agree. And I know, like, even in the aftermath, like, I think the latest, like, media scrums, like, there's kind of that disconnect where Sophie told people that they had a meeting, and Kelsey was like, how did you guys know we had a meeting? There just seems to be some disconnects, not only just with, like, Caitlin and the coach, but also just, like, how there seems to be disconnects on how the team approaches this culture shift and how they approach it publicly versus privately. And yeah, like you said, I think obviously you can't go too high because they have the talent. Like you can never deny that this is a team that can be in that contending conversation. But like you said, when the narratives speak louder than the gameplay, it does get a bit concerning. So yeah, I'd also probably say like around a 7 cuz I'm not too concerned, but yeah, it just hasn't been something has been clicking and I mean like everyone seems to be in disarray. Like the fans are mad at the team, the team is mad at each other, I don't even know.
Team's mad
Um
at the team.
yeah, so it's just like I think they will be fine if they can clean it up. The question is just if they can do it and if the players, especially Caitlin, are willing to kind of step outside of themselves and look to the team. Um, yeah.
I'm with you. All right. The June power shift. We have now entered the month of June where early season predictions fail, where early season thoughts fail, where teams thrive, where surprises happen. So we're going to do a little bit of a fun segment. What team will be higher in the standings a month from now? I'm going, and there's some easy cop outs. So I will judge you pretty harshly if go with,
Like
the
the Liberty.
Fever, or yeah, if you're going with the Liberty, like, oh yeah, they'll pop up a spot or two, or like Vegas, like, come on, don't be a wimp. I'm going Washington Mystics. They're sitting at 4-4, eighth place right now, tied with Indiana Fever. I just think we're gonna see a nice little rise from them. They,
Mhm.
for so many reasons, they're a young team, they're an exciting team. They are a team that I think is headed in the right direction and is having fun together. Kind of the complete opposite of the Indiana Fever right now. Who's your team that you think will be higher in the standings specifically a month from now?
Hmm. I mean, I was gonna say the Mystics, but I think also I could see a world in which the tempo are one or two spots higher. I could see that. I think things are starting to click for this team for sure. Kiki Rice has looked really great.
Mm-hmm.
Um Nayara Sabali has like she's been playing very well. I think that's another early MIP candidate for me. I think she looks really good in this new role. Um yeah, I mean, obviously they have Sandy, they have Marina, like they have the pieces, and I think they've been playing like a pretty hard schedule as well. So depending on how the rest of their schedule pans out, I can definitely see them, surprising a few people and being a bit higher on these rankings.
Next up, we got what team do we think is going to drop? I'm going to go with the easy cop out, and then the other team. Minnesota's
Mhm.
the easy cop out, sitting at 7-2, number one team. Like, obviously, everyone kind of expects that. I think we're going to learn a lot about them. On the
Mhm.
6th, they play. Sorry, tonight as we record, they're playing the Valkyries, so we're going to learn a lot about that.
Mhm.
Then the Storm, the Wings, the Aces, the Fire, the Sparks, and the Valkyries again. So Valkyries twice, the Wings once, and the Aces once. And I'm not trying to ignore Seattle, ignore Portland or the Sparks, but like those are some legit tests to
Yeah.
see kind of the power structure of this team. I don't expect them to go undefeated in that, so I would expect them eventually to drop a spot or two. The other team I got is Atlanta. Atlanta's looked really good. I just think we're not going to see. This is just my take. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't think this season is a season where we're going to see Minnesota, Atlanta just stay in 1 and 2 the whole season long.
Mhm.
I think we're going to see Dallas pop up there. We're going to see Golden State. We're going to see the Aces. Um, Maybe New York pop in there, drop out, pop in there, drop out. It's going to be a tango for the next month or so. What about you? What team do you think is going to drop?
Yeah, I'm with you, especially with Atlanta. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the Aces, the Wings, I think they're bound to only get better as the season goes on. Also, this one isn't much of a hot take, but I do think the Fire will probably drop. I think, they had a really great start to the season, and I still think they will win a lot of games that people aren't expecting. But I do think that, like, the Valkyries game kind of exposed a lot of shortcomings. I mean, obviously they're an expansion team, so if they did drop, that would be fine. I think they're like 7th right now, which is way higher than I expected them to be at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've already exceeded expectations. And I think they will continue to, but I do see that tapering off a little bit. Yeah.
I'm with you on that 100%. All right. My response to this question is might be, I might anger people or be called ridiculous. Which player is about to have a breakout month? And I'm going Jackie Young. And I know it's not a breakout in the traditional sense. The first month of the season has not been a typical Jackie Young month. It has not been typical Jackie Young basketball. I'm not saying she's playing bad, but she has not been doing the typical Jackie Young things that we expect. And I feel like I saw a glimpse of it in the last game, or maybe it was 2 games ago. And now we're going to kind of see that getting her back into midseason form. So that's my take for a breakout month. What about you?
I think I'm gonna go Gabby Williams, and I think she's already been really great to start the season. She's averaging like 14 and a half points, shooting very well from three. Obviously, great defensively. We already knew that. But I think as the Valkyries, I think they're playing uh a few good teams this month. Yeah, they're playing yeah, no, they're playing Minnesota and the Aces back to back. And then that's gonna continue. I think she will really take that next step. I just think the way she's been playing is she's just awesome. She's been getting downhill a bunch. She's been shooting the three. She's very much showed herself to be a three-level scorer in a way that I think a few people maybe weren't expecting because she's never been that number one offensive option on a team. But I think and then also with someone like Veronica Burton sharing the ball, she's gonna have ample opportunity to score and to be this next level player. Yeah, and the Valkyries are just like definitely exceeding. I think we knew they were going to be up there, but I think they're exceeding my expectations at least for this early in the season. And I think Gabby Williams is a big part of that, and she will continue to be an even bigger part of that.
I'm with you on that one. Gabby's just, I mean, her defense is insane, but her offense, people are getting scared. All right, that's the end of the episode. I do just want to give a little bit of love to our European players because I saw some people hating on the Eurovision, and I find it ridiculous. I'm not going to go into this whole rant now because I got a guest coming up who wants to go on this rant. But let's just be clear about something. First of all, WNBA players have been going overseas forever to play. Second of all, the thing I don't get is the argument seems to be like these spots are for American players. No, the spots are for the best players of the basketball because we want the best league because we want our team to be the best. So yeah, what you're kind of arguing is that our team should be worse because we should employ American players, which I just think is idiotic and counterproductive for what the only goal for these teams are, which is to win.
Absolutely.
Not to like, and I was throwing shade when, years ago we had, who was it back then? Oh shoot. With Charlie Collier drafted number 1. And now I'm blanking. She's still in Dallas. Awak Kuier, being drafted number 2 when Awak probably should have been number 1 and Charlie should have been number 2, but it was like a hometown person, blah, whatever. It's ridiculous. These players are balling out. They're doing amazing things. You're being educated how to speak names in different languages. It's cool. It's awesome. It brings flair.
And the Valkyries are a great example of that. I mean, just
and also like historically, Lauren Jackson, like I'm blanking on now I feel horrible. I'm blanking on a bunch of like there was who was the Erica de Souza? Like there's been so many international players that have had huge impacts that have helped teams win championships. It is absurd for anybody to say otherwise. That's my rant. And to close out this episode, I want to remind everyone we appreciate you and thank you for listening and supporting independent WNBA coverage, our site, and others. Winsidr has been doing this for a long time, and it only works because of this community. So we appreciate you. Have a good one.